Nongjirong Lekthe stands as a beacon of resistance in Karbi history. He was the first Karbi leader to rise against the British Empire. Lekthe's defiance ignited a spirit of rebellion. His story is one of courage and sacrifice. Though not in mainstream history, his legacy inspires. He was the son of Nongjirong Lekthe and was born at Longbui Rahoti village, Rong Mongver block, Karbi Anglong. Lekthe saw the injustices of colonial rule. The British East India Company extended its control over Assam. This expansion came at a heavy price for the Karbis. Their way of life and identity were under threat. Lekthe emerged as a symbol of hope and resistance. His story reminds us of the unsung heroes who fought colonial rule. Their sacrifices deserve to be remembered and honored. Lekthe's fight was about preserving the soul of a people. The arrival of the British in Assam marked a turning point in the region's history. They came initially under the banner of trade, but their ambitions soon grew. The East India Company, with its private army and insatiable greed, began to assert its dominance over the fertile lands of Assam. The once independent Ahom kingdom, weakened by internal strife, fell to the British forces. This paved the way for the company's expansion into the surrounding territories, including the hills of Karbi Anglong. For the Karbi people, this period ushered in an era of profound hardship and exploitation. Their traditional system of governance was dismantled and replaced with a foreign system that disregarded their customs and laws. The British, eager to exploit the region's resources, imposed heavy taxes on the Karbis. Their ancestral lands, considered sacred and inalienable, were declared wastelands and seized by the colonial administration. The forests, which had always provided sustenance and livelihood for the Karbis, were now declared government property. The traditional practice of shifting cultivation was branded as primitive and banned. This disruption of their age-old practices led to widespread poverty and hardship among the Karbi population. Nongjirong Lekthe refused to be a passive spectator to the injustices meted out to his people. He understood that the British posed an existential threat to the Karbi way of life. Lekthe, with his natural leadership qualities and deep understanding of the land, began to organize resistance against the colonial administration. He rallied his fellow Karbis, urging them to rise against the oppression and reclaim their stolen heritage. Lekthe's growing influence and his calls for resistance did not go unnoticed by the British authorities. They recognized him as a threat to their rule, a thorn in their side that needed to be dealt with swiftly and decisively. The British launched a manhunt for Lekthe, determined to capture him and crush the burgeoning rebellion. He was eventually apprehended and imprisoned in the notorious Jorhat Central Jail. The colonial authorities hoped that his capture would break the spirit of the Karbi resistance. They underestimated Lekthe's resolve and the depth of resentment against their rule. Section 4. A network of resistance, Lekthe's comrades in arms. Nongjirong Lekthe's struggle against British colonialism was not an isolated one. He was part of a larger network of resistance that was brewing across Assam. Leaders from different communities, united by their shared oppression, rose up to challenge the might of the British Empire. According to some oral stories, Lekthe was forged alliances with prominent figures like Maniram Dewan and Pioli Pukan, who were spearheading their own resistance movements in other parts of Assam. Maniram Dewan, a former official in the Assamese royal court, had become disillusioned with British rule and advocated for the restoration of the Ahom kingdom. He played a crucial role in mobilizing public opinion against the British and established contact with the neighboring kingdom of Burma to seek their support. Pioli Pukan, a skilled warrior and strategist, led a rebellion against the British in Upper Assam. These leaders, though geographically dispersed, shared information, strategies, and resources. Their coordinated efforts posed a significant challenge to the British administration and inspired others to join the fight for freedom. Section 5. Facing the gallows, Lekthe's final stand. The British, alarmed by the scale and intensity of the resistance, decided to make an example of Nongjirong Lekthe. He was brought to trial on charges of sedition and waging war against the crown. The trial, a sham by any standard, was a mere formality to legitimize their predetermined verdict. Lekthe, in the face of overwhelming odds, remained defiant. He used the courtroom as a platform to denounce British colonialism and to assert the Karbi people's right to self-determination. He was found guilty and sentenced to death by hanging on the 10th of March, 1858. His sentence sent shockwaves through the Karbi community and beyond. On the day of his execution, Lekthe, unyielding in his spirit, refused to be cowed down. He performed a sacred Karbi ritual, invoking the blessings of his ancestors and the spirits of the land. He declared that his death would not be in vain. It would sow the seeds for a larger uprising against British rule. Section 6. Erasing a Legacy, the Exile of Lekthe's Family. Nongjirong Lekthe's execution sent shockwaves through the region, but the British were not content with his death alone. After his death, his family and relatives moved to Borpong, Habekro village, which is 20 kilometers far away from Langlokso, Karbi, Anglong, Assam. This act aimed to break the spirit of the Karbi people. Despite suppression, Lekthe's story lived on through Karbi oral tradition. Section 7. A Hero Remembered. Nongjirong Lekthe's Legacy Rediscovered. For over a century, the story of Nongjirong Lekthe remained largely confined to the oral histories and collective memory of the Karbi people. However, in 2023, on the 17th of January, a group of Karbi Adorbar leaders, driven by a desire to unearth their forgotten history, embarked on a quest to uncover the truth about Lekthe's life and sacrifice. Their search led them to archives, museums, and the descendants of those who had witnessed Lekthe's struggle. Piece by piece, they began to reconstruct the narrative of this unsung hero. The rediscovery of Nongjirong Lekthe's story has rekindled a sense of pride and identity within the Karbi community. His sacrifice serves as a powerful reminder of their ancestors' unwavering spirit in the face of adversity. The Karbi Adorbar, recognizing the importance of honoring their heroes, has taken steps to commemorate Lekthe's legacy. Efforts are underway to build a memorial in his honor, a place where future generations can learn about his sacrifice and draw inspiration from his unwavering courage. Nongjirong Lekthe's story is a testament to the indomitable spirit of those who fight for freedom and justice.